All right, we're here in the Thermaltake suite and with Shannon and Rob, and we're taking a look at some of Thermaltake's new cases for CES 2014. Shannon, you want to tell us what this case is here?
Yeah, this is the Urban T81. This is kind of a departure from what we've normally done, which is when it covers to normally our liquid cooling fitment is about 240 millimeter radiators. But when we decided to redesign and basically go back to basics, we wanted to go to something that really fits something really massive beyond just your standard 240 mil rad. We wanted to fit something that was first of all, we want it to be a really good hybrid case, which is what this and the Core V71 will show you. And it comes standard as default out of the box. It comes prepared for really extensive air cooling with two 200 millimeter fans in the front and one in the top, and it has an option for even a second one. Or you could fit your liquid cooling like we did here, and you can even leave the 200 mil fan still in place, or you could do push-pull or whatever you want to do. This will fit 120 and 140 base radiators, so as you can see here, all the way up to, for instance, a 360 or 420 radiator in both the front and top, and also 120 and 140 in the back. The bottom, if you remove the drive cages, can actually fit 120, 140, 240, 280. It could fit some really massive radiators even in the bottom. But as you can see, there's plenty of area where the slide door comes off, where it opens up, and you can see that once the drive bays are all out, you've got plenty of room for a lot of components, including pumps, reservoirs, what have you, all your tubing and all that good stuff. So you can build a really massive system. And also we even have a solution for if you remove all your drive bays to still keep a hard drive mounted in here, and I'll show you that in the air-cooled version right over here. Okay, now in the air-cooled model, you can see all the fitment, the drive bays are all here right now. These are all, you'll notice there's three drives, and then two drives. So they're all individual modules. You can remove them one by one. So if you just wanted just to remove these two and put, let's say, a 240 rad in there, you could do it and be just fine and still have two drives here. However, if you wanted to go with the crazy liquid cooling system like the other case, then you even have this bracket right here that you can put in place, and it actually can mount an SSD or a hard drive in place on this guy vertically, and problem solved. You still have your storage there. However, if you need more storage, you can always add in different modules or whatnot to keep it running compatible with pretty much anything you need. Now let's take a look at the Core V71. This is the other massive tower that we're working on right now. Okay. Now once again, you'll notice I built a really massive liquid cooling system in this guy as well. You'll notice you have a really nice finish in a large window, so you can view everything. Whether, as you can see in the air cooling, we have a very large drive bay setup. Once again, that can be completely removed via modules, 3, 2, 3, so you have all your modules here, or you can remove them all and you can fit just a ton of liquid cooling equipment here. And this one actually has a solution for the drives as well, and it has a really cool solution I want to show you here in a moment. But you can see this one also has, this one comes with blue LED fans, 200 millimeter, so 2 in the front, 1 in the top, but it still has the same radiator fitment as the T81, so you can see it does 360, 420 in the front, 360, 420 in the top. You can do up to that, 120 millimeter in the rear, or you can do 120, 240 in the bottom without an issue. Now, for air cooling, once again, these come equipped, ready to run, just for really amazing cooling setups. And also, like I said, if you're removing all these drive bays, you can flip this bracket around so you don't lose the stiffness or the rigidity of the case. You'll notice in the liquid cooling case, you didn't see this bracket because it actually flips 180 degrees to be over here behind the door. You don't even see it. So now, when you're talking about drive mounting for these guys, one problem is once you take all the drive bays out, you need somewhere to put your hard drives. Most of the time we see solutions where, and it really bugged me that you only had SSD mounting back here when you did that. However, we came up with a solution so that you take the existing drive trays that would normally be in those. You can mount a full-size drive for just huge capacity, and then an SSD or 2 full-size drives, however you want to configure it. You just take the existing drive tray, you'll see some hook mounts here and a clip. You just set them in, clip it into place, run your wires, and it's hidden away. You can't even see it. You can run all your liquid cooling, and you can have 2 big drives, whatnot, what have you. Obviously, if you need more than that, you can come up with your own mounting solution because there's plenty of back bay drive that you can mount, you can vertically mount or however you want to mount drives for it. But there's just another solution to make it a little easier if you're building like a really crazy custom system.
What made Thermaltake decide to move away from some of the cases they had made in the past and move to what we see here in the V71 and the T81?
Well, it's not necessarily moving away from it. We're still making the other designs you've seen, like the Overseer, the Urban Series, things like that. But we wanted to give people an option, what they asked for. We've had a lot of people asking, we want bigger liquid cooling fitting. We want all these different features. And so we decided, you know what, we're going to go just completely crazy and build our dream case of what we'd really want for like fitting liquid cooling, fitting air cooling, just massive amounts of cooling potential, we want it all there. We want to give you as much as we can fit without going crazy either. You'll notice this is not a gigantic super tower case. It still keeps it at a modest size, so that it's not gonna, it's not gonna be as tall as your huge desk. It actually will fit under your desk. I mean, you can see it's not, this is a knee-high case. It's not something that's gonna go up to your hips. Now, one more aspect of the Urban T81 and the Core V71 is that we wanted to make an extreme case, but we didn't want the extreme case price, because a lot of times you see your big crazy cases, $300 plus dollars, and that's not reasonable for most people. Most people want that money to put into their system. We want you to have that. We want you to have that. We want you to build a nice DIY system without having to break the bank just on the case. So when it comes to the T81, it has a price point of $189.99. I mean, that's not killer, but if you wanted to go, let's say the Core V71, this is your core, your basic, just like the name says, $159.99. I mean, you're talking a little over 150 bucks, and you've got a fully functional, massively liquid coolable case or just air cooling. You've got a lot of functionality built in for a little over 150 bucks, and I think that's very reasonable for what you're getting out of the chassis. We also have, made our way with like the Land Box originally, Land Box Lite. You remember those chassis? Well, we wanted to kind of reinvent that form factor with a sleeker design. So we took the Urban S Series design, integrated it into a Land Box chassis. So as you can see here, it actually has the full front door, and you can pop it open, and you've got your dual 5.25 here. So you're all set. You've got your USB 3 in the front, headset, microphone, everything you need for a good gaming setup or something awesome, maybe small, maybe your Steam boxes or what have you. There's a lot to talk about that right now. And then also, we actually integrated a bracket right here, which you can look down and actually see. We have a bracket for an SSD, so you can mount a nice big SSD or hard drives below it. And also, you'll notice we have Water 3.0 right here. So we have Water 3.0 cooler, so you can liquid cool even this little guy. Will have room for your liquid cooling, and it also has room for some really massive graphics cards. Pretty much any longest card on the market, minus the really tall PCBs, the ones that are above the standard reference height. Any of the length is pretty okay, but if you're talking about the ones that's really high on the standard PCB bracket, that could be an issue, but otherwise, pretty much it'll fit most of them in here. And then if you want, the T series, it still has the front door like the S series, but it's a much sleeker front door. You'll notice it's melded into the front of the chassis. It actually allows a much cleaner look. It almost doesn't look like a door's there, but it does open, and you've got your 5.25, you've got your fan filter removable, all this good stuff. You've got your power and reset button all integrated in the side, USB 3s, all that good stuff. And it's in a very value-driven case, $69.99, so I mean that's a really reasonable price point. Now, if you don't want to fiddle with a door, you don't want a door at all, but you want a sleek design styling, then you can go with the R series. You'll notice it has the same design elements as you have here, but you can see the exposed drive bays. Everything's there, so it's just much easier to deal with for people that don't really care for doors. It just makes it easier. And this one is $59.99 MSRP. So once again, it's it's for price conscious. It's a huge value for you. Okay, and when we talk about Thermaltake, you also know we do case, we do power, we do cooler. One of the key things is power. We've always done the Thermaltake. Our enthusiast line has always been tough power. Well, we've always done really high-end wattages. We wanted to move our gold standard, our gold series, down to even lower wattages so that you get a really good supply, even if you're just running a single graphics card, which, let's face it, a lot of gamers run. Single graphics card don't need more than like a 750, 650 watt power supply. So we've got tough power gold, and it comes in MSRP of $109.99. And it's mostly modular. The only non-modular parts here are the 24 pin and 8 pin, which, let's face it, you're not going to run a system without those two cables, so it's not really going to kill you to use those. However, if you are dying for like a fully modular supply, we do have the new DPS, which you guys have probably seen. It's just like our Tough Power Grand Series. Got the rounded edges, sleek case, and it's fully modular. So everything, including your USB connector, that's how you be able to control it, do the digital side and monitor it. So therefore, if we're talking about the control, we also want to mention that we are having some coming that are like this one. Tough Power 1050 coming. It's Tough Power DPS 1050, $269.99, and it's wireless. So it has your USB connection, but it's actually a wireless dongle, so you don't have to worry about running the cable in your case. You've got a dongle that plugs to your motherboard, and you've got a dongle that plugs to the PSU. So that's even another cool feature we're trying to offer with this. Now, one thing about the digital side is that a lot of people assume, you know, we're pretty late into the game, and in reality, we've had the hardware side for a while covered. But we really wanted to perfect what was key and important. Because most of the time when you install your power supply, it's in your system, you're done. You don't look at it again. So we wanted to take control of what you see all the time, which is your software interface. Because, you know, we could have made something big and clunky and just put it out, but we really wanted to perfect it so that for people who use Android phones, you know, iDevices, what have you, we wanted something smooth and sleek, something you'd expect to see on your phone or tablet. We wanted an app-like interface. So as you can see here, it's first of all, it's got a lot of functions, just big, easy to press buttons, just nothing real hard there. And let's say, like for instance, your cost. This is just show adjustability. Basically, you've got this. You can actually set your cost per kilowatt hour, so that, you know, depending on where your area, how much it costs, you can actually have a pretty accurate measure as to how much it's costing you to run your system. I see this as possibly being a benefit, especially with the recent mining operations. People, you know, running multiple mining rigs, things like that. You can actually graph this data, and you even keep 6-hour records, so that you can pull these up and you can actually compare if you're, you know, what your efficiency is, how it's running according to load and whatnot, and you can actually get a good idea of exactly how this thing performs. And maybe even, you know, a lot of people have noticed, like running, once again, the mining rigs and stuff, they're posting online on the mining forums trying to help people how to optimize your system. This gives you a tool that you can actually monitor, first of all, how much it costs, wattage you're pulling, temperature, everything. It helps you better optimize and make sure your system is running in its top shape, and maybe even pull a little less power depending on how you tune it. And so that's a huge plus for you. Now, one of the things that Thermaltake is, once again, known for, like I said, case power cooling. Well, cooling, originally back when Thermaltake first started, we had a lot of innovations. We really helped drive. We were like a huge driving force for cooling, and we've always been pushing that initiative. Now, we kind of wanted to reboot some of the things that were important to us, like our fan series. We hadn't touched that in a while. We've been kind of going along with everything that was there. Well, we wanted to kind of go back, once again, go back to the basics. That's what this year's kind of about. We want to go back to what made us. So, as you can see here, we have our Peer series, just standard built-to-work fans. We have our Luna series, which have rubber anti-vibration mounting, different color options, red, blue, white, red, all different LED options for you. Same thing with Peer series. We have blue, white, and red. We also just have your standard black plastic for those that don't care for LED fans. We have all those options available, and all of them have been newer optimized designs to make for higher airflow, better airflow performance, less noise, different fan blades designs, all this stuff we've researched to make fans better before we came into this whole reinvention of our fan line. So you can see these coming to market pretty soon. Going to be really reasonably priced. You're talking, honestly, for like the Luna series, you're talking a $14.99 price point for the full rubber vibration fan mounting. So, and then the Peer series, anywhere from, as you can see here, depending on LED or non-LED, anywhere from $6.99 to $8.99. These big guys, the 20 centimeter or 200 millimeter, you're talking $14.99 with LED or $12.99 without. So the Peer series is obviously a much more value conscious, just simple. And then you have another thing that's really cool is our fan filters. We want to go magnetic so that's easier. You can stick it on. You don't have to mount it between a fan or anything. However, if you have an aluminum chassis, you can even mount it. We do put holes in it so that, because obviously it's not going to stick to aluminum. So we want to give you that option. But otherwise, if you have a standard steel chassis, stick this on. It's just going to be easy. Pull it off when you need to clean it, and you're done. Commander F5 is something we've shown for a while now. It's actually, it's our just 5-channel fan controller. Very simple, just analog sliders. And then we have, for storage side, we actually have the BlackX Urban. This is a USB 3.0 BlackX that also has Wi-Fi capability, so you can connect your wireless devices, your tablet, your phone, whatnot, directly to it and stream data directly from it. Or you can even use it like as a wireless bridge. It allows you to share your internet connectivity almost like a hub. And something, now we're going to kind of move along here to our laptop coolers. And I know laptop coolers, it's a pad that cools your laptop. But in reality, we've come up with a lot of ways to really differentiate what we offer. For like one that's gotten a lot of attention recently is our massive SP. It has 2 speakers, one on each side, and the sound quality has been pretty much promoted by a lot of media as being just really a superior performer compared to others on the market. So it's really a good one for us. It's actually it's done very well. And then our massive TM is one that might be a little new to most because it was first shown at Computex. just this last year, and it has 4 individual touch sensors here. So it can automatically adjust fan speed according to the temperature it senses from your laptop. And then we have just a simple one, a massive V20. It's just a 20 centimeter fan, just big open mesh, just designed to just get a lot of air to the bottom of your laptop without making a bunch of noise. Because big fans always tend to create more airflow with a lower RPM and less noise. Same idea was carried over with our new NIC series. NIC series, as you know, is designed to offer minimal RAM issues, actually no RAM issues I've run into, to where you have perfect clearance, no issues with RAM at all. And now we go with like a larger fan. Newer design on these guys, on the L32, L31. And you can see with the bigger fan, you're going to get the more airflow at a lower RPM and less noise, which is always a plus because we always try to strive for making, once again, the perfect user experience. We want the experience to be really good with these. We want to optimize so that you get good performance and also a good experience, because what good is having awesome performance if you can't hear anything because the thing's so loud? There's one more thing I wanted to show you, and this is kind of a early alpha, or just kind of a pre-showing of some cool components we're working on. But you can see cylinder reservoirs, things like that, things that make for really well, like liquid cooling systems, like the other system you saw running over there, like with our DPS demo. These are G1/4 base, so they'll fit with any of your popular fittings or our own fittings, as you see here. These are compression fittings, and they do fit smaller tubing because smaller tubing works good. It's very flexible, allows it to work. But if you want to run your own stuff, you can do that as well. But this is just kind of our own entry in a more value-conscious version of liquid cooling components. So we're not trying to compete, with the really high-end players. We're just trying to get our own entry into this because this is kind of the next progression of like where Big Water had started, which is Big Water having the components and allowing the expandability. Now you have your own individual components, so you can select and upgrade as needed. Maybe you start with these components and you move on to bigger, better, depending on how it goes. And then you have your cylinder reservoir here. It actually has an integrated pump. There's a drop-down tube, so it keeps from dropping a bunch of air into it and just recirculating air through a loop. It's kind of a really unique design. And then we even have a radiator design that is built off of a heater core-based unit. And the cool part about this is the airflow is very free through this. It's been optimized so that you can run even really low speed and low flow PWM fans and get really good performance without almost any noise whatsoever.